This is the Mighty Manfred, and it is time to get your coolest conversations underway. And today, I am speaking with Rishi Dhir of Elephant Stone. How are you, Rishi?
I'm doing great. You, Manfred?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm pretty happy to have you on the line here to talk about Elephant Stone. Now, before you formed that, you were in the High Dials, and there's another. They're another underground garage fave. And with them, you played bass and sitar, and that's what you play in the Elephant Stone as well, right?
Yeah. No, actually, before the High Dials was the Datsuns, who I think you guys played also before that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I couldn't find the lineups for the Datsuns. I wasn't sure if you were playing with them at that point too. Well, why did you leave those guys and go on to form the Elephant Stone?
Wow. I guess I was doing the Datsuns High Dials for about, I think it was like 8 years. No, probably like 8, 9 years. And just by the end of it, I don't know, I got tired. You know, it's hard being in a band. It's rewarding, but at the same time it's hard. And I wasn't actually writing the songs in either of those bands. So I was like the bassist, backing vocalist and stuff. But near the end of my cycle with them, I just got disillusioned with rock and roll. I saw it as a very shallow existence. I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel like I was giving anything back to the world. So, yeah, I just decided I had enough. I was going to focus on my sitar, which I've picked up in 1997. And I was I basically decided to give up on rock and roll. And I was just going to do classical Indian music. But pretty quickly, I just started having ideas again and slowly started demoing new material, and I never intended to start a new band. I mean, I was sick of being in bands, but lo and behold, all these years later, I've jumped into it head first.
Just a terrible addiction that you haven't been able to shake.
Yeah, rock and roll, she's a mistress.
So with the Elephant Stone, you've been active since 2008 or 2009?
Yeah, the first record came out in 2009.
And the new full-length, so what is it? It's like 2 full-length albums, an EP. The new full-length is called The Three Poisons. What are The Three Poisons?
It all started, we were demoing new material, and then my drummer hit a cymbal, and it sounded to me like a singing bowl. And I remembered when I was in Dharamsala in India, where the Tibetan government exile is, I remember listening to all these singing bowls, and I started getting me to think about Buddhism and the meaning of the bowls. And then I came upon the concept of the 3 poisons, which is the Buddhist cycle of life. And it's represented by a snake, a pig, and a bird. The snake represents anger, the pig represents ignorance, and the bird represents attachment. And then I kind of looked at my lyrics and realized that all my lyrics were kind of touching upon those 3 poisons. And it just all came together right there. I mean, I was pretty lucky that I found that.
Well, you know, that's interesting. So you mentioned, so you're based in Montreal. What is your musical background, and what was life like growing up for you in terms of coming different musical influences?
I was really lucky that I had an older brother growing up, so he was into like Zeppelin and The Who and The Doors and the Beatles. So I remember, I think when I was 8 years old, my brother gave me the American release of Revolver, and he convinced me that Taxman was actually called Batman. So I was hooked right away, and yeah, that's it. I mean, The Who's Meaty, Beady, Big and Bouncy, The Best of the Doors, and Revolver were my 3 records growing up. And from that point on, my teenage years, I got into more kind of like shoegaze stuff, Teenage Fan Club, and then the American indie stuff. And yeah, and then I got into a chance meeting with the Afghan Whigs when I was 16 years old, turned me on to soul music. I met them backstage in Montreal, and they just gave me this lesson on soul music right there and then. And so I started getting into Motown and Stax, and then mod, and yeah, you know, there's a lot of music to discover out there. So
I agree. Well, a lot of your stuff, and I guess carrying over maybe from the High Dials to a degree, has got kind of a psychedelic edge to it. Do you recognize that, or do you think, well, you know, that's an element, but it's just not one that's emphasized? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, psychedelic is such a vast term, and you know, when we were in the Datsuns, we were going through our mod phase, we were doing like really three-piece suits, scooters, Lambrettas. We were doing that. Then we got into freak beat stuff like the easy beats, and then you start getting into SF Sorrow, Pretty Things era, and psychedelic was just a term that's used, but now it's used as a marketing term. And I guess our music is psychedelic, and I mean, psychedelic is about expanding your mind by music. So I'm comfortable with that. Yeah.
Well, just prior to speaking, we heard the song off the album, Motherless Child, Love's Not for War. What can you tell me about the song? What was the inspiration for that?
Wow. Musically or lyrically?
Both.
Both. Musically, I guess I was for all of 2012, I was playing with the Black Angels. I became their touring bassist and sitarist, and I've known those guys for years. And so just playing with them, like that riff is very representative of like a lot of the Black Angel stuff, and 13 Floor Elevators is like this kind of garagey riff. And I just remember I was playing sitar one day, and it's like this riff that has a flatted fourth. So it's kind of like got the devil's chord in there, which is like the true essence of rock and roll. So I was playing it on sitar, and then it just came. Music came from there. Lyrically, it's like my lyrics are pretty personal. They all come from someplace. They don't come from nothing. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's, sometimes you feel like you're lost, you're on your own, and people don't understand you. So I guess that's where the lyrics come from.
And what are you guys looking to do in the upcoming future? You occasionally you do play here in the States. Do you have a favorite place, favorite town in the U.S. to play, or an area that you find audiences especially into what you guys are doing?
Well, I don't know. Like we're still breaking into the U.S. Like Europe's going really well for us, but I guess the West Coast is great. And New York City is like the greatest city in the world. I mean, I've been playing New York since like the early 2000s, and every time I go there, it's always this energy and excitement. So I love playing New York.
Let me ask you about Europe. What's your favorite country to play?
Well, our home base in some ways is in the Netherlands. That's where our record label is. But we played on our last tour. We actually got to play Greece, which blew my mind. So that was definitely like the highlight of the whole tour, just to go there. So
you said last year you were playing Greece?
Oh, no, just a few months ago, back in June.
All I hear about Greece is how everything is really hard. And most recently, like a week or so ago, I saw some news report, and a woman was saying, "Oh yes, suicides are just through the roof, and everything. Everything is falling apart." How are the shows?
I mean, the shows were amazing. They were packed. And I remember talking to my friends there, and they said times are hard. And, I think it's like 30 to 40% unemployment right now. So the economy is pretty hard. But at the same time, I mean, at times of crisis, you need a catharsis. You kind of need release. And I guess music is the ultimate way to like kind of enjoy life.
Oh, I agree with that. Hey, Rishi, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thank you.
And we're going to play another track off the new album, The Three Poisons. We're going to go out with Knock You From Your Mountain here in Little Steven's Underground Garage.